Hi, this is Jenny Clark with Solvability, and today I'm with Karen Krymski, who is with the Florida SBDC at University of South Florida. How you doing, Karen?
Oh, great. It's good to be here.
Well, so what do you do at the Florida SBDC at USF?
Well, so as the PTAC for that area.
A PTAC?
A PTAC. It's the Procurement Technical Assistance, and we're part of the Small Business Development Center. So we're actually at the SBDC, we offer a suite of services for any type of business from startup, and we have, most of our clients are actually small to medium-sized businesses that have been in operation for quite a while, that have some revenue and a number of employees. But specifically what I do is I actually help people navigate and build their go-to-market strategy if they're interested in primarily into the federal government space. We also have a consultant that works with us at the SBDC who works with folks to help them attain state and more municipal types of certifications and contracts.
Oh, that's a big help. So when you say go-to-market strategy, do you help them decide what kind of contracts to go after, or what is that?
I help them to learn how to do the research. I call it fishing, teaching them how to fish so they end up with fish at the end of the day and not just a whole bunch of information that doesn't really yield dollars. When you're an entrepreneur, time is money, and I don't want people to waste time and go down an area that they're not really equipped to handle or that they really don't know anything about. So that's a whole part of what I do, is to teach them how to do their research, what types of agencies, what types of contract vehicles, a lot of information that's going to help them be a lot smarter so they know where to go as their primary market.
It's so important for them to choose the agencies that are buying the kind of services they want and that they can offer the services in the location that they want to be operating. Because
Absolutely.
Otherwise it seems like they're always going up to Washington, D.C. to stand in line with thousands of other contractors.
Absolutely.
And I bet you found them some interesting ways to get in.
Well, and that's actually what I was here to talk about today at the 8A Alliance Conference, was capture planning. And there's a whole lot of considerations that people need to take into account when they're actually looking at doing work with the federal government. Most people come into the office and they say, I want to do work with the federal government. And there's over almost 500 agencies, bureaus, and departments in the federal government. So obviously small businesses cannot service all of them. So what are the sweet spots? What are the contract vehicles that those agencies use? How do they buy? Who are they using currently? Are there new opportunities that are coming out? How do you find out about those new opportunities? Who do you talk to? I mean, there's lots of different places and things that you need to know to take into account to know whether you really should be doing work at all with federal government. I mean, that's another question. And sometimes, quite frankly, I have to hold the mirror up and say, I don't know that this is really where you need to go. And even if you do need to go there, maybe 70% you maintain as your commercial or your enterprise side, maybe 30% is your government side.
So a lot more balance that way.
Absolutely. And because quite frankly, the commercial, the enterprise side, is the time frame is a whole lot shorter than usually with the federal government. It can take up to 2 years for a contract to actually be acquired by a small business.
2 years?
Up to 2 years, yes, depending on the acquisition strategy, if it's already being performed, who's shaping it, how it's being shaped, how much industry information are they seeking. I mean, there's a whole lot of information, plus the time that you may actually bid on some things and not get them. So you may be actually learning as you're bidding, which is not a bad thing. And one important thing while we're talking about that's really important that a lot of people do not know is if they do bid on something formally, they need to ask the contracting officer for a debrief. And they need to ask for it in writing, and they need to ask for it within 3 days of being notified that they did not receive the contract.
So what's a debrief?
A debrief is basically the contracting officer telling you why you didn't get the bid, why you didn't get the work. It could be something simple as maybe they were only looking at price, and maybe that's the reason. Maybe it's you didn't really answer the question. Maybe you didn't give them the scope of work to which they were requiring for their pain point.
Yeah.
So, and that's actually the number one reason why a lot of proposals are deep-sixed, because people do not read the requirement. They give them something that they think the government wants instead of what the government really is asking for.
Yeah, because it's crazy. The government keeps saying they want innovation, but don't innovate in your bid.
Absolutely, and that's one of the things I talked about in this capture meeting was, they may ask you for something and you really need, government doesn't like risk. So you need to give them the solution that you're reading what they want, and then you can offer them a B solution. If you have a better innovative, you can say, this is what we know that we can provide, but we think this could actually serve the agency better.
Yeah. So there is room for that.
There is.
When I've looked at debriefs for people that have lost on price, because I do this all the time, I take a look at them like, okay, you did this, this, and this wrong. Fix it on the next thing, and it does make a huge difference. They've got to know.
It can make the difference between getting a check and not getting a check.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. So debriefs are very, very important, and don't hesitate. But you do have to ask for them in writing, and it has to be within 3 days.
Wow, I'm glad you told me about that. And there's some training coming up on June 21st in Tampa, right?
On June 21st at the SBDC in Tampa, we are actually having a DCAA accounting seminar. It will be from 8:30 to 10:30 at the Port of Tampa building, which is our home office in Tampa. And it's for a very nominal amount. It's 2 hours of training with the actual DCAA folks that are housed over at SOCOM.
Well, that'll be a great opportunity. So I'll be posting a notice about that on LinkedIn too. So Karen, thanks so much for chatting with me today. It's always great to run into you.
Thank you so much. Come and visit us at the SBDC. Thanks.
All right. Bye-bye, Karen.